culture is actually
I welcome you all to another edition of Sportsball, where my deep cynicism for the world around me amplifies with every passing day. Whenever I need an escape from it, I like to use the sponsor of this video, Raycon, to take me to another place. It's what sound and music does. With their new and improved rubber oil gel tips, I don't have to worry much at all about discomfort or the earbuds inconveniently falling out. They're smooth, flexible, and feel like they're not even in my ears. And they help to amplify the booming bass and elite sound of the everyday earbuds. With 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, you need comfort. Especially with, say, hour-long streams like Clickbait Sports. My reputation may be in tatters every week, but my ears are extremely comfortable. The everyday earbuds even have a built-in mic that can take calls at the push of a button, perfect for life on the go. And it's all offered at roughly half the price of other major brands. Raycon even offers a 45-day happiness guarantee. If you aren't satisfied with your purchase for any reason, you'll get a full refund. Even better, you can save up to 20% off your order by going to buyraycon.com/utree. With Raycons, I know I'm in good hands. I don't know if I can say the same for the NFL and the sport of football, but my ears surely are. Now on to the feature presentation. This Injury Bowl disguised as a Thursday night football game is brought to you by the NFL's insatiable quest for money. Because fuck you and fuck your precious player safety. Don't they know that the NFL literally ended racism over 6 times in the last few weeks? This hellish landscape is a true test for the Packers. They were without 3 of their top wide receivers, David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander, and more against one of the best units of this young season. The Arizona Cardinals still have much to prove as an up-and-coming team. Beating a contender like Green Bay will look incredible on their resume. If only they could get past the Packer defense holding like it's the Battle of Thermopylae. Give it enough time, those 11 guys will fall with enough men thrown at them. They eventually did, but they're chasing Aaron Rodgers in his brief transportation into the meme dimension. Time is getting short, but Cheeseheads have a chance at sealing a win. They assert their dominance in the running game, and are now at the goal line lining up for the finisher. The dagger is in their hand. Can they drive through the zombie and kill it?
Rodgers keeps, flips it.
They went for the heart when they had to go for the head. Big mistake, Green Bay. I don't disagree, they had to go for it. The Packers defense couldn't stop a child from picking them apart, and a field goal wouldn't have been enough. Weird play call, but right idea at the 1-yard line. What an absolute shocker, the Packers defense can't stop a child from picking them apart and runs amok around the field. Arizona's gained over 80 yards with ease as time to play with, and overtime is coming at minimum. Take it away, Cardinals.
Nice snap again. End zone and picked off.
All that incredible momentum and you end the game like that? It's not even a play call issue. What the hell was AJ Green doing? Did he not expect the ball to be thrown at him or something? Check the batteries on your controller before the game, for fuck's sake. Maybe not, but somewhere in Miami, a certain team is prepping for celebration. The 72 Dolphins remain the only undefeated team in the Super Bowl era for another year. Considering how bad this season's been for Miami, it may be one of the few victories they have on their season. They do say things like that get better with age. In Halloween, Mike Myers is a psychopathic killer that hunts down his prey and kills them in brutal ways. I mention this for no reason, just in the hopes that the Houston Texans can become another one of his victims. Many fans got into the spirit by dressing up as empty seats. And the Texans themselves dressed up as a football team, since there's no way they can be considered as a professional outfit. The Rams didn't have to pretend to be anything, they just kicked massive ass all day long. It was over by halftime. Brandon Cooks, if he's lucky, will be freed like Mark Ingram was before the trade deadline. Pack them in a casket and burn the remains. Houston is done. Even worse, anyone who bothered gambling on the over for the Rams lost out in the end due to a bunch of garbage time touchdowns by Houston. Majority of people who watched this game lost. Sportsbooks, you may collect your earnings. The question all season for the Texans was in regards to Deshaun Watson. Nearly everyone inside and outside of the Texans organization wants him out, for the sake of a new chapter for both player and team. But Houston is idiotic. They still want premium value for him despite his legal troubles and uncertain player status. Rumors swirled about the Dolphins in particular. Deshaun, in a rare showing of consent, authorized a potential move there. So what's the verdict for his short-term future? Drum roll, please. Deshaun Watson will be spending the remainder of the season with the Houston Texans. Who knew that nobody wants to trade a haul for a guy that has a potential suspension and/or jail time hanging over them? I was worried Miami was going to make a crucial mistake, but they chose to hold off and accept losing a potential top draft pick to Philly. Stephen Ross apparently made the final call there, but here's why the Texans are inept. There were grumblings that a settlement was going to be in place for Deshaun. And in response, Houston chose to demand more for him in return. For a guy with all that baggage? The Texans continue to be the Texans. They may not have won anything but false pride in holding on to Watson, but they have surely won Lolcow of the Week. Better luck trying to trade him in the offseason, boys. If there's even a solution by then. We thought the Detroit Lions had a chance of winning this game? With how hard they play and how shitty Philly is coached? I've learned a valuable lesson with this massacre. Never ever offer praise to an irrelevant franchise like the Lions again. They'll take that encouragement and go back to drooling on the floor and punching the drywall out of habit. In front of a sparsely attended Ford Field, the Eagles soared all game long. For 60 minutes it was clear. Lions poached on the savannah and skinned for precious furs. That's the name of Detroit football for the past God knows how many years. If you didn't know any better, you'd have thought Philly was back in their Super Bowl prime today. The Lions continue their second march to winlessness with another careless loss. Even then, they can still be the best winless team in football history. Well done on the tank, lads. It was looking uncertain there for a hot minute. Buffalo was doing everything they possibly could to keep Miami in this game. It's not entirely unjustified, though. The Bills have had a few of these hiccups throughout the season, and the Dolphins were considered to be playoff contenders before the season. Instead of a rout, it's a defensive duel to start the game. Key stops all around, both offenses failing to gain traction, so Buffalo took their team into the shop at half. They figured out the problem. Someone accidentally put the team in 2018 mode. That's an easy adjustment. A few tweaks, allow Josh Allen to do his thing, and we have ourselves a Buffalo team that gets it together to maintain supremacy in the AFC East. Buffalo may have a victory, but the real winner here is Howie Roseman. His trade with the Dolphins at the draft continues to bear fruit. And like the past few weeks, Miami will blame Tua for this when he wasn't the main issue. Everything was fine until I made that goddamn video about them. Why did I give them the kiss of death? There is great news coming out of Chicago. No, it's not a player returning from injury, but a necessary subtraction. Matt Nagy is now coaching against the 49ers due to COVID protocols. Now the Bears can play the forbidden football plays. The type of football where Justin Fields doesn't look like he was gored by a bull. You mean to tell me he has talent? Holy shit, I wouldn't have guessed he can run out of the pocket since the Nagy offense considers it a mortal sin. Look at his electric running. This is the kind of offense that Bears fans were begging for. And is also damning since we can see said offense is being restricted due to incompetence. All they need to do is beat San Francisco and they can call it a perfect day. They didn't win? What the hell do you mean they didn't win? The 49ers have all the offensiveness of Mr. fucking Rogers. How does the Bears defense fall apart when the offense manages to do something? How did they not get a sack without Khalil Mack? Well, I guess this is how we're doing things nowadays. At least Fields didn't look like shit for once. For the Carolina Panthers to win football games, they'll have to do it by means of defense. It's been proven over the past month that the Panthers are absolute trash without Christian McCaffrey to carry the load. The fortunate thing is that they are playing Atlanta. Everyone in that city is distracted by the Braves on the cusp of winning a World Series. Hey Falcons, look over there! The Panthers repeated that same game plan for 60 minutes. The offense still isn't doing shit, but Atlanta fell apart in the standard Atlanta ways. They gave their power to the baseball team to avenge them. I appreciate the giving spirit, but it's not good for winning football games, you know? Matt Ryan looked really damn out of sorts today. And with this loss, there goes any false hope Atlanta had. At least you have a good baseball team. This isn't the only loss Atlanta is going to be dealing with this week. Over the past few weeks, Calvin Ridley has taken a leave of absence due to mental health issues. This past week, with a message on social media, it's going to be indefinite. He'll be stepping away from the game for the time being. Whatever he's going through or dealing with, I hope he finds peace away from football. Take care of your mentals, kids. If you try to push through mental issues, it usually doesn't end well. You eventually end up breaking down and either burning out or falling into dangerous vices. For things even worse than that, I am obviously not speaking from personal experience whatsoever. Take all the time you need, Calvin. We'll be here if you choose to return eventually. What you are seeing in front of your eyes are countless stale narratives emerging from their graves to terrorize us all. Was this game great defense or some of the most inane play calling imaginable? You can decide that. The Browns can get Baker back all they desire, but it will not save them from the agonizing pain of a brutally disappointing season. Begin the first old narrative reforming. The Steelers considering Cleveland their second home. Dominance on a level we haven't seen since England lording over the Irish for centuries. Maybe the Browns have a potato famine since we begin the second narrative. The Steelers are playing ugly. It can never be convincing. Tied at 3 with a chance at the lead before half? Why fake the field goal and get your kicker Chris Boswell killed? Now he's out for the game. Well done, Pittsburgh, you played yourself since you get ball at half. Even with this good fortune, reach the third narrative. The Browns looking a great situation in the face and pissing it away. Can the defense make a stop? No. Can the offense make clutch plays? Yeah, maybe if their receivers can catch something besides an injury. Overcome the stereotype that they can't beat the Steelers at home? Well, doctor, I'm sorry, but I fear the bullshit is going to keep rolling right along. Can Cleveland regain the lead with all the momentum in the world? Oh, you poor summer child, it's the winter of fumbles and discontent. Jarvis Landry needs hot tar to be able to hold on to the goddamn ball these days. And with that, we conclude the grandest narrative of all. The Factory of Sadness. It's returning with far more injuries than one can comprehend. A gloriously winnable game ripped out of their own hands by themselves. Pittsburgh was gifted a win they didn't really deserve and look incredibly unimpressive without being bailed out for their idiocy. You know my conclusion from this? Steelers gain the Super Bowl. Steelers gain the Super Bowl. You hear me, bitches? The Steelers have gained the Super Bowl! Perfect opportunity to pad their impressive record on the season. The Cincinnati Bengals headed into New Jersey's biggest mistake to play the Jets, starting a practice squad journeyman named Mike White, whom you can argue is a computer-generated player to fill the roster. But things didn't feel right from the start. Mike White was balling out as if he had all the hype of Zach Wilson, slinging the ball effortlessly, hideously exposing the Bengals defense. If his receivers could catch something, the Jets would be blowing the gates open on this game, but we have to remember that these are the New York Jets. Nothing ever comes easy for them. Since he's doing everything in their power to keep them in it, though, failures to break through a battered Jets defense are making this very, very uncomfortable for them. The fourth quarter, the Bengals have an 11-point lead, so you would think that'd be more than enough to put this game away, right? This wouldn't be the first time I was mistaken, and I think we got off on the wrong foot. Allow me to introduce you to Mike Goddamn White, savior of the Jets and recently crowned King of New York. Cincinnati will bow to his legendary power. Over 400 yards of passing in his first NFL start. He has rewarded them for giving him this chance. The blessing of a one-score game from the new god of the Meadowlands. Now all we need is some divine intervention.
They had lost 5 consecutive games, and the Jets are coming out playing. Oh, it was picked up!
Oh my god, the Bungles are bungling in a way I never expected. Not the brutal turnover part, but in this fashion? You know the golden rule, Bungles. Never give the ball back to Mike White.
White to the end zone. They got the lead!
Mike fucking White. What a legendary performance for a team that needed it. Since he may have blown their drive, but all they need is a defensive stop. What could potentially ruin such a great game, you might ask? Untimely ref ball. How in the actual fuck is this penalty on the defense? The Jets player lowered his helmet on the play. You're gonna end the game on that bullshit? After all the gutsy determined play? Unbe-fucking-lievable. The New York Jets beat the goddamn Bungles with a touch of heinous ref ball and white power. And that's probably gonna get me canceled. I didn't expect this game to be much of a duel a few weeks ago. Indianapolis looked like absolute shit at the start of the season and had lost in every conceivable manner. Tennessee rattled off impressive wins against far superior opponents. Maybe there is something that needs to be said about what confidence can do for a team. Look at Carson Wentz. He was absolutely broken to start the year, but he has shown flashes of the brilliance that led Philly to christen him as the Messiah. The Colts punch first, but Tennessee gets back up. It's a relentless fight for more than a win. It's for AFC South bragging rights. Tank division? Here? Not with this kind of 12th-round heavyweight bout. Blows and jabs thrown left and right by both teams throughout the contest. Neither one willing to concede ground on the 120-yard battlefield. They know the stakes of this game. The long-term implications are vast and limitless. We're deep into the match with both teams tied at 31 while Indy gets the ball. Carson will give us nostalgia.
Wentz faking the handoff, under pressure!
The nostalgia of 2020. Carson Wentz transformed back into Carson Wentz. But then you see Tennessee's secondary is nothing but scotch tape and a half-drunken bottle of Cuddy Sark. Give me a Hail Mary pass and pass interference to get them shitloads of yardage to the 1. Show me a tie, Jonathan Taylor.
Wildcat with Wentz splitting out, and
we've got a hot date with overtime. Round 13 in this fantastic bout. Neither team can do much of anything on their first 2 drives, but Carson needs to unleash his key perk. Hero Ball. The deadliest sin of Carson. Did Frank Reich forget about Jonathan Taylor? He wasn't allowed to do much of anything in overtime. Now they must suffer the anguish of Fat Randy and being second best in a division yet again. You may think you have no luck this season, Indy, but sometimes you've got to make your own. And you're doing a piss-poor job at it. You thought you were getting out of this that easy, Tennessee? No, my friends, you have to suffer a great cost for this win. King Henry. The injury gods took him out for the season? God damn it, the league will let us have nothing good these days. Why him? Fuck you, assholes. Do you think we forgot how terrible you've been as an NFL head coach, Urban? You may have gotten lucky these past few weeks due to the emails you probably had a hand in leaking, but the cold reality of how unprepared the Jaguars are every week says more than enough. They made the Seattle Seahawks, blessed with a defense with all the absorbency of wet paper, look like the Legion of Boom again. Jacksonville's offense was 17 shades of sheep shit. Outright dominated by a team that had been absolutely lost without Russell Wilson for these past few weeks. Geno Smith looked like he was back at West Virginia, for fuck's sake. With news of Russell Wilson potentially coming back sooner than expected, it might not all be lost for them. But do you seriously expect me to believe that Jacksonville is in the right hands? You sure you want to trust this guy, Mr. Khan? If you don't want to pay him a severance, you can always assign him to AEW as a manager of, I don't know, Britt Baker? Seems to be a lesser-known tradition of Bill Belichick that he delightfully enjoys. It's a rare delicacy, but it's one he relishes every time he can, ending the foolish hopes and dreams of the Chargers. Especially when he's in California, he'll do whatever it takes to fulfill his ambitions. On paper, especially with the talent LA has, you'd expect that the Patriots would be competitive but lose relatively easily. But we are foolishly mistaken. This game is very close. New England is keeping pace with the Chargers, and it isn't due to any trickery or gimmicks, but with traditional, well-coached football. Disciplined and steadfast, the core tenets of a Belichick outfit. They need to prove to the world they aren't dead yet, and I think I have an idea how they're gonna do it.
Third down and 9. Herbert. Intercepted! Picked off!
Deceiving your opponent into a false sense of security and then striking while their guard is down. Very Belichickian. Maybe he hasn't lost it yet. This decisive win might prove it. 2 terrible teams. One main goal in mind for both. Which squad can fuck up less? If you were to look on the surface, you'd think this was one of those legendary defensive showdowns of the 70s. The offense was that putrid from both teams. Checkdowns on long yardage situations. Blocked field goals. Interceptions on Hail Mary passes. Missed field goals, more blocked field goals. Both teams want to lose this match so badly, yet are consistently outclassed by their opponents in this endeavor. The sad part is neither is really trying to. It's effortless ineptitude. The deadliest execution of all. This is both beautiful and agonizing to witness at the same time. Sloppy-ass football is a pet passion of mine. We must embrace the failure as Denver unfortunately scores a touchdown. Washington tries to advance from city block to city block. They know that their season will be in danger if they lose, but Denver's defense turns up the heat at the goal line. Either that or the Reskins remember that offense is illegal in their code of law. I think 4th down just confirmed it. We can finally put a bullet in this fucking game. Thank God. Just burn the damn clock and go home before. Are you fucking kidding me? Why does Denver want to lose this game so badly? It's the Reskins! Just give them the pointless menial tasks to prevent them from ruining anything! Good thing they did enough of that by themselves. Broncos somehow get back to 500 and foolish playoff aspirations are still intact. ugly football. It'll be forgotten in a week, but it's a necessary virtue of the world. One that I cherish ever so dearly. Denver's had a really shitty year, all things considered. And I've got good news for that city. It's gonna get even shittier for them. Von Miller, the face of the franchise since Peyton Manning retired, has been traded. He was going to be a free agent after the season, and the Broncos didn't want to pay him for an extension. Also, with how the Broncos are offensively challenged, it makes perfect sense to get picks in return to build for the future. Von's new home? The Los Angeles Rams. They paid a hefty price for his services, like many other pieces they brought in. A second and a third round pick. Miller isn't what he was, but with him and Aaron Donald on the same line, holy fuck, that's deadly. With this move, the course has been set for the Rams. Super Bowl or bust. They know the time is now, and they'll do anything to get back there. This move helps with that. New Orleans is one of the most inconsistent teams in the NFL this season. Whenever you think you can properly assess what they are, they invert every single thing for shits and giggles. Against Tampa Bay, the class of the division, you'd expect an easy loss. Especially considering famous Jameis's patented food truck broke down outside Drago's. And with Taysom Hill still out, their quarterback now is...
Hold on, I actually have to look this up.
Trevor Siemian. That guy's still in the NFL? Do they really stand a chance anymore? Let's turn this over to an expert scholar in the art of goatology. Barry McCockiner.
Did you know that Tom Brady is 44 years old? If that isn't impressive enough for you, next year he'll be 45. Let's check out his legendary performance versus New Orleans. Here, Brady throws the ball at least 5 yards to a super tightly covered Chris Godwin. Holy fuck, that's so impressive. If you listen closely, you can hear Brady say, "Get down the field, you stupid bitch!" Brady's first touchdown of the day was orgasmic as he fired an almost impossible 5-yard pass to Chris Godwin, who was then willed into the end zone by Brady's word is on Mike Evans for only being 6'5" instead of 7'5". You might not know that New Orleans has a serious earthworm infestation, so Brady took it upon himself to help out by killing a couple of them with this beautiful throw into the ground. Man, look at Brady's toughness. He takes what is possibly the hardest hit in NFL history here. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold on to the ball, but you can't blame him really. This is 100% on Chris Godwin for not using instant transmission to teleport in front of the defender before the ball got there. In my opinion, this interception should not count. Here we see Brady, under super heavy duress, fire the ball 3 yards to Godwin before Brady uses telekinesis to force the defender off Godwin, who then runs 40 yards after the catch. No other quarterback besides Brady can do this, folks. Appreciate it. This touchdown pass made me ruin a new pair of underwear. Brady fired a bullet, no offense to Alec Baldwin, to this super tightly covered running back, who Brady then willed into the end zone. Name one other quarterback who can make this throw. Oh wait, you can't. This is the most impressive touchdown pass in NFL history. If you look up the definition of threading the needle, this is it. I still have no idea how Brady fit this ball in there. He's 44 years old, have I mentioned that? The moment New Orleans went up 2 with 1:41 left, everybody expected Tom Brady to lead a game-clinching drive, and that's exactly what he did, throwing a beautiful touchdown pass to put the game out of reach. The most impressive part, though, was Brady's incredible leadership, as you can see in this screenshot. It's important to remember that it's completely natural for a quarterback to be throwing harder and moving around better at 44 than they did at 24. What a hero he is.
Dallas Cowboy arrogance is running rampant across the land. Much to the horror of those around the world, the blue star with white trim attempts to assert its dominance. But perhaps we will get a break from it this week. They're resting Dak Prescott due to a lingering calf injury. And instead we get Cooper Rush in his first career start. You think this would be a surefire win for their opponent, but then you look who it is. The Vikings. They are ripe for blowing this sort of game. It's in their history. It's in their blood. And no matter what they do, they cannot avoid their recessive genes. Dallas's defense will carry the slack today. Minnesota could do absolutely nothing against them. I know the Cowboy defense isn't as porous as previous iterations, but to go 1 for 13 on third down conversions? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why is Mike Zimmer still here? So we can hold back all of the talent on this roster? Fuck, Dallas is playing Cooper Rush and he looks decent. Kellen Moore is unlocking his talents. You see that, Vikings? That's called proper play calling. Mike McCarthy doesn't give a shit and is just letting his players do the work. You can learn something from that, Zimmer. Would make a hell of a lot more sense than getting the ball well into Dallas territory thanks to penalties and doing fuck all with it. Oh, you made a field goal without pissing yourselves. Let's plan the parade. And by that I mean allowing Cooper Rush to march down the field on your so-called elite defense. How the hell do you screw up so badly to get defensive delay of game on a 3rd and 16? The horns now cry in the deep. Skloll.
1st and goal. To the end zone, and it is Hill for the touchdown.
I knew they were gonna shit the bed. If you know anything about this franchise, this is what they do. Never argue with me otherwise. Dallas played hard and got rewarded for it. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's 11 o'clock. Do you know why Mike Zimmer hasn't been fired yet? Kansas City fucking sucks this year. This isn't even a take. This is a concrete fact. When you see this team, for as undisciplined, sloppy, and careless as they are, play on both sides of the ball, you can confirm it for yourself. The Chiefs are the preppy asswipe at school that thinks he's hot shit and tries way too hard to be one of the cool kids. They want to be flashy and wow you, but they keep fucking up the most basic of tasks. Why bother to simply throw a pass when you can no-look it on the run and sidearm it? When they get called out on their bullshit, no, it's not on the players for not playing to potential. It's on the entitled fan base for being toxic. The hate rattles them so much that they're tied at 17. And I sincerely hope the Chiefs lose. But wouldn't you guess timely penalties bail out their incompetence? This terribly thrown interception by Mahomes should have had everyone melt down, but wow, the G-men were conveniently offsides. The next play, a well-timed face mask penalty because New York is run by cavemen. Their defense bends but doesn't break and forces a field goal, but that's enough to finish them off. Oh my goodness, you beat the Giants? A team so banged up that their best blocker was probably Daniel Jones? Golly gee willikers, Batman, you barely escaped the clutches of the fat kid with a broken leg. Let me lavish all of the praise on you boys for one of the most undeserved wins I've seen this year. For my next trick, I'm gonna no-look this segment and have it miraculously finish at the top as well. Henry Ruggs go very fast. It was looking like a suspect draft pick at first, but he's been emerging as an outstanding receiving option for an upstart Raiders team. Life goes by quickly like Ruggs down the sideline. Everything you've worked for can go away with one terrible decision. For Ruggs, it happened after a night of partying in Vegas. He gave his meme a meaning I wouldn't have dared to dream of. And now a person's life has been unfairly ripped from them due to his foolishness. Ruggs now sits in a county jail with his season and possibly his entire football career over, driving 156 miles per hour on impact. His blood alcohol level was over double the legal limit. A loaded gun found in the car. The wrong person died. It should have honestly been Ruggs for his reckless behavior. I hope they throw the fucking book at him. DUI isn't worth it. Especially with ride-sharing apps being as prevalent as they are, if you're going to drink, do it at home or don't drive. Henry Ruggs is just one of many that think they're invincible behind the wheel. You aren't. You'd think you'd have known this considering a good friend of his died in a car crash. Now he's got blood on his hands. Nothing he can do will bring back the life that was lost. Or the career he may have just thrown away. You fucking idiot. Football is a brutal game. May the bell toll for the fallen.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
Thus concludes another week of this sermon on the field. Amen.
And Russell Wilson can come back and their defense can continue to get better.
And there is Travis Homer looking for the end zone and getting it on the onside kick.
Oh, man.